Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Amal. I'm a registered social worker and part of Naseeha Mental Health. We all have heard about how common and normal it is to experience worried thoughts and to some extent even symptoms of anxiety during these uncertain times. In short, anxiety is our body's natural response when it senses some kind of danger in our lives. It's adaptive. So what this means with all the persistent uncertainty, unpredictability, instability around us nowadays, that can trigger a sense of danger within us, which can naturally trigger a worried, anxious response. So I'd like to share with you two techniques that can help you manage your worried thoughts during these times. The first technique is to identify what type of worry you're having. According to psychologists, there are two types of worrying. The first type are the real problem worries. So these are worries about actual problems in the present time that you can take direct action on. So some examples are, I just sneezed into my hands, I need to go wash my hands. The second type of worry is are considered the hypothetical worries. So they're the ones that are most common. They're the ones that start with what if. They're concerned about the future. It's a worry about something that hasn't happened yet, but might happen in the future. So some examples are, what if I get sick? What if I lose a semester of school? What if I never see my family again? So because these type of worries are very common, they can also feel very overwhelming and overbearing. They can leave us feeling drained and exhausted and take so much of our mental and even physical energy. For some of us, it can even make us feel helpless because there isn't usually a direct action that we can take to resolve these worries. So the second follow-up technique that I want to share with you is to deliberately postpone worrying about your worries. So that means to specifically set aside some time as your worry time. So this might feel counterintuitive initially, but you know how we always are told not to procrastinate? Well, this is the time where you're encouraged to procrastinate. You're encouraged to delay thinking about your worries until your specific worry time. And one of the ways we can prepare for this is to decide on a time that will be on a specific time during the day and for how long we'll be using that time for. So for some, they can start off with a 10-minute block or even a 15-minute block. And it's best to choose a time where you're less likely to be disturbed because the whole purpose of this is to allow yourself to think about these what-if scenarios, to think about these hypothetical worries and to experience them. So one of the suggested times that you may want to experiment with is setting this time either before or after one of your 5 daily prayers. So for some, they might choose the time to take some time after Maghrib prayer. For the early risers, they may choose some time before Fajr prayer, which also coincides with the Qiyam time. And the reason being is because hypothetical worries, again, they keep you in a loop. They make you feel exhausted, helpless, unable to take action because there's so much more that's outside of our control, especially during these uncertain times. So when we anchor these hypothetical worries, the what-if scenarios that are going on in our mind through some kind of a spiritual activity, so through duaa, through prayer, through calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it can be that much more grounding for us. It can help redirect our attention and focus on something that is within our control, an action that we can directly take, such as engage in some kind of a spiritual activity, such as prayer, to help us manage these what-if scenarios. What you may also notice is that reflecting on your worries during your specific worry time may also reduce the intensity of your worry and make you feel less overwhelmed over time as you think about them. This will also help you develop some skills around being in control of the worry and skills around managing that worry. So to recap, here are 3 steps to remember. Name your worry. Is it a specific now worry or is it a future what-if worry? The second step, procrastinate your future worry till your specific worry time. And the third step, make your worry time your spiritual time, your duaa time, ground it through some kind of a spiritual activity. And finally, I encourage you to reach out to Naseeha, make use of our phone and text support service. You can also follow us on Facebook, post your questions so that a mental health professional on the team can get back to you. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.